All right, so we got to talk Houston Rockets. As we know, the opening game is a couple of hours away, but we got to talk about this Tari Eason situation. So he was not given the rookie scale contract extension. The deadline was yesterday. I want to read a little bit of this article from the Cron. So Rockets will let budding standout hit free agency after contract stalemate by Michael Shapiro. All right, so it says a rare show of restraint from Houston's front office. So as you know, Tari Eason was, up for a contract extension, but the two sides did not reach an agreement. Prior to, this news coming out, it was looking like it was going to be a 4-year, 80 mil extension. That was, the reports being put out there, but it just didn't happen. So why did this not happen? Why, you know, was Tari not extended? I'll just read a little bit. So Houston Rockets enjoyed a spending spree, new contracts for KD, Jabari Smith Jr., and Fred VanVleet. On Monday, Houston was hit with a show of contractual restraint. Okay, Houston did not come to an agreement on a rookie scale contract extension with forward Tari Eason before 6 p.m. Central Time deadline on Monday. A source confirmed to Cron, ESPN Shams was the first to report Monday's news. Eason is now slated to become a restricted free agent after the 2025-26 season. The Rockets will be able to match any contract offer for Eason next summer or allow him to leave for another team in free agency. So there you have it. So as we know, if you're a Rockets fan, if you follow, the NBA, Tari Eason is he's a really good wing, right? He defends, he gets out in transition, he rebounds well. He's like that glue guy, right? And he has a lot of upside. I was, coming out of LSU, I was pretty excited when the Rockets drafted him because I just looked at the physical tools. I looked at, what he did on the court, and he's a basketball player for sure. He's a basketball player, right? A lot of people like his game. I know Draymond Green. I know, the Warriors and Rockets, they go back and forth, but I know Draymond Green has given him compliments about his play style, how gritty he is, and, how much a dog he is. So, people respect him around the league. And when you look at, why the Rockets may have not extended him, in my opinion, it's two things. And this article kind of gets into it as well. I would say his injury history. So let's look at some Tari Eason numbers, right? Rookie year, 9.6 boards, a steal a game, right? And then he's shooting about 34 from three. Year two, about 10 points a game, 7 boards, again, about steal a game, a block a game. He's a glue guy. He does a little bit of everything, right? And then last year, he takes a jump, 12 points a game. What else? About 6 boards, about close to 2 steals a game, again close to a block a game. So you see what he can do in it. Like, these are just numbers. If you watch the game, you know how impactful he is out there on the court. But if you look at the games played as a rookie, he played all 82. In year two, only 22, and then last year just 57. So that's probably one of the reasons why the Rockets may have caused the pause when it comes to extending Tari Eason, is just the availability, right? Probably don't want to get into something long term without knowing if the guy's going to be available, if you paying them that money. And then the second thing that the article brings up that we just looked at was the Rockets say that they don't feel as if they're where they're supposed to be, say around the trade deadline, and they think they need another piece, because right now the Rockets are in win now mode. You go and get KD, he's in the last stretch. You just he signs a contract extension, he hopes to retire. In Houston, you're in win now mode, and you go out and get KD, you trade away Jalen Green. So say the Rockets they feel as if they're not where they need to be around the trade deadline. Tari Eason could very well be a trading piece that the Rockets use, to acquire maybe a point guard, right? Because that's the position that is a question mark at. Fred VanVleet is hurt. We don't know what Reed Shepherd is going to do this season, right? You don't really have a lot of depth at that guard spot. So maybe Tari is a trading piece for the Rockets. That's another option. That's another option. Even though as a fan, I don't want to see Tari go. Super talented, like I said, but we'll see what he does, in this first half of the season. He can come out and very well may be like a 6th man of the year, contender, right? He can be in that race if he, applies himself, he plays how I think he can play if he gets those minutes. Last year around 25 minutes a game, probably can expect the same this season, right? So you just got to see what he does in those, when he gets out of there on the floor. But yeah, man, Tari was not extended. Hopefully, just from a fan perspective, like I said, I hope he gets a deal done. He's a restricted free agent this upcoming offseason. And there definitely will be a lot of suitors for sure, because you need guys like him on every single roster. You can't. He's necessary. He's necessary, man. In the comments, let me know your thoughts on this situation. On his memory, he had Rocker Park. His theme. Somebody leave the basket. We're gonna see when the clock go post. Snacks. Tell me yesterday, HBC.
Man, once again, man, I appreciate you having me, man, and congrats, man, on the platform. And I say keep it going, keep doing your thing.